Welcome to I Still Call It a Lariat Legion. I am Steve Zapf. We are here for episode 36. I know I keep saying the episode's numbers, but it's because I'm kind of impressed that we're made it this long. With me this week, as always, to talk about TNA and WWE stuff is Mr. Showtime Michael Wryght. How you doing today, Mike?
You know me, Steven. I'm living the dream.
So this week we're gonna find out who's bound for glory, what happened on SmackDown, obviously. Jey Uso changed the IC title around a little bit, and a baseball legend passed away, unfortunately. Before we get into all that, I am going to talk about our nonprofit organization, Tap Cancer Out. As always, we will have that link in the description below. It is on all of our social media accounts. Tap Cancer Out is a jiu-jitsu tournament that helps out with Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabella Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Descents, and Tom Coughlin's J Fund. The J Fund. Always got to go with that one. Folks, for those of you who have not been paying attention to our bonus footage, our bonus content, we have our Bad Blood preview coming out. We just did our interview with EC3. Huge, awesome interview. That was we really appreciate him giving us his time for that one. And coming out this week as well, we will have a huge interview with Big AJ from the Costco guys. We're going to talk about his past in wrestling and what could be his future in wrestling, as he just made a huge announcement with Barstool Sports. With that said, I'd like to give a little bit of a shout out to some of the Legion out there. First off, NJ Harry C on YouTube. Thank you. You've been with us since the beginning. I want to give you that shout out. You're always commenting. You're always giving us the thumbs up. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. And the Family Heals, you have been with us since I think it was just me, which is crazy because that was only 1 week. And I appreciate you guys always coming out and always helping us with the likes, with the supports, the comments. Legion, in general, we love you. I want to show the appreciation, though, and these two groups really came through on us. So thank you again. But with that, let's talk some wrestling.
You won't do it.
I'm gonna do it. First things first, Bleacher Report has taken all of their pay-per-views off of their app and streaming services. They are no longer going to be doing any pay-per-views, not just AEW, but pay-per-views in general. That is not going to be a thing. They have given you options on getting them onto other platforms, so you can get them onto Triller, DAZN, payperview.com, I think YouTube as well. So it's not the worst thing ever. I think, honestly, I know Showtime and I had a really bad experience with Bleacher Report for one of the pay-per-views, I think over the summer. And I really think that was kind of the nail in the coffin for them, realistically. There was a lot of people who were very, very upset. Next up, AEW on their fifth year anniversary of Dynamite is going to have Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada in a double title match. This is big only because, one, it's a double title match. Two, I really love the stipulation on this. The interesting stipulation on this is that world title matches, which are normally defended over a 1 hour time limit, and the Continental title, which is normally defended over a 20-minute time limit. If Kazuchika Okada loses, but he loses outside of that 20-minute mark, he does not lose his title. I think that's kind of a cool clause.
20 minutes and 1 second.
It's going. I'm going 25 and 25. Like, they're going to go just over the 25-minute mark, just so that it doesn't look like they were just trying to beat the 20 minutes. But they're just trying to beat the 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a cool stipulation. I don't know why we're talking about AEW on this show, but I guess I'll let it slide this time around. But this match is a great one that's been building for a while. I want to see them start putting Okada out there with the people he's supposed to be working with, and getting a shot against Danielson before Danielson sunsets is the right move.
With that said, unfortunately, some upsetting news coming from the WWE camp. Ilya Dragunov tore his ACL this past weekend. It was actually just before Raw. He did it in a match with Gunther. I'm not saying that Gunther hurt him, but when they were kind of showing it, it looked like it happened either just before or during one of Gunther's Boston Crabs, which I can't imagine how much that hurt. Just being in that move during that with a torn ACL.
Yeah. So it has to, to tear your ACL, it's usually a twisting motion. It's a plant twist. And in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how you do that in a Boston Crab. It had to have happened afterwards as he's spinning it over. There's got to be a moment where you get that plant and twist.
It was actually a plant just beforehand, and then he put him in the Boston Crab afterwards, not realizing what was going on, and Ilya just going with it. But either way, that's, again, to show the toughness of pro wrestlers. He finished the match. Because that's what wrestlers do.
Show must go on.
Show must go on. Big news coming out of the NWA. They have moved over to X for most of their NWA power tapings and things like that. But at NWA 76, which just aired their show for Tom Latimer, the former Bram from TNA, wins the NWA World title off of our friend EC3. This match has been building and building. It seems like the entirety of EC3's time in NWA, it has been crossing with Tom Latimer. Again, congratulations to him. This is awesome. This was a cool win for him. I'm sure EC3 will be back in the saddle again soon, though. And the sad part. Pete Rose, baseball legend, passes away. This hits hard on the wrestling world because Pete Rose is, though not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame now. I think they were waiting for the moment he passed to put him in there.
They did it now? Yeah, they did it
like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. He is a key part of certain WrestleManias. Apparently, Kane has an affliction with giving him tombstones. I thought he was a big part of some of the wrestling stuff, and I think he will be missed in this world, honestly. I think he did enough where people will be talking about whether or not he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame forever, whether he is or he's not.
It's a complicated story, Pete Rose's. But at the end of the day, he's a WWE Hall of Famer, and that's all that really matters, right?
To us. Now. All right, with that said, let's get on to the weekly TNA program. Total Non-Stop Action. So, opening match for the show opened with Wendy Chu and Rosemary versus Jordynne Grace and Sol Ruca from NXT. As per the order of Ariana Grace, I have a couple notes for this match. First of all, it was a good match. Jordynne Grace is an absolute star. We've been saying it for months.
She's a beast.
If she does go over to NXT or full main roster WWE, she's gonna take off. I can't wait to see a match with her and Rhea Ripley. I think it'd be awesome. I can't wait to see her and Bianca Belair go at it. Also awesome. I wouldn't mind seeing her and Charlotte Flair. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Jordynne Grace with the who's who of the women division. The
WWE needs an infusion of real women talent at this point in time. I feel like yesterday it felt so robust on how good the talent was. And they just flushed it all down the toilet. I don't know what happened.
Everyone's gone or hurt.
Becky, I know, but I feel like recently only Becky's really walked away. Like who's hurt? That was hurt. I know, but like even that was that was 2 WrestleManias ago that she kind of that was like her last big match, give or take. The right now the WWE, I felt like during WrestleMania they had such a huge pool of talent, and now it feels like there's 3 people.
And everyone else is just stuck in that women's division.
Stuck in that women's tag team division. It's not
women's
even
tag team division.
Yeah.
I will say this: Sol Ruka does a lot of really cool athletic stuff. I like that when she goes up for at one point during this match she goes up for a moonsault from the top to the outside, and I like that she doesn't do it completely blind. Like she actually looks to see where her opponent is and then hits the moonsault on the outside, like you really should.
Mm-hmm.
The whole blind moonsault kind of escapes me a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of it. At the end of this match, we get Tasha Steelz comes out and jumps Jordan Grace, and then afterwards, Masha Slamovich comes out to make the save. This all inevitably is leading towards Masha versus Jordan, I feel like.
Yeah, you said that. I see the build there. I think that you're getting Ariana Grace probably eventually, but we'll see.
Maybe or Alicia Edwards probably.
Alicia Edwards is probably the one.
Yeah. We get a little quick Frankie Kazarian promo, and then we get what I consider the wrestling match of the week. It's funny
wrestling match of the week.
It's funny how Jonathan Gresham is constantly in my wrestling match of the week, isn't it, guys? Maybe it's because he's an amazing pro wrestler, but it's him versus the Laredo Kid. My notes on this: this is an awesome athletic match. This has Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask written all over it. It has Laredo Kid doing a little bit more of the gymnastic styles, the flips, the twists, the turns. And I'm not saying he did flippy kid stuff. I'm saying he was the high flyer in the match, where Jonathan Gresham went out there and really put on a wrestling clinic. I said in the show that I did with Hound, Kehlani Jordan and Ren Sinclair put on a hell of an athletic wrestling match. This is like the men's version of that match. That's how good this was. I gushed over that match. I will gush over this match. I will talk about this match with whoever wants to talk about this. And the ending of it was phenomenal. It was Jonathan Gresham being more aggressive after his recent stint as the Masked Octopus, and just picking Laredo Kid's leg up by the ankle and slamming his knee down on the mat until he tapped out. It was, I know I said aggressive, it was aggression, if you will. Yeah, I did that. I said that. We get Mike Santana breaking into the System's dressing room to give them a beatdown. They never show anything. And then we get Zachary Wentz and ABC versus Leon Slater, Mike Bailey, and Kushida. Once again, this is an awesome match. Again, I know we keep saying this. We champion TNA. This is the best wrestling program that is on television right now. Does it have the best production? Does it have the production of AEW and WWE? No. But it has the most classic pro wrestling show that you can watch. And they do one show a week. Just one. One show. And realistically, if you're on the TNA Plus app, one, you don't get commercials. You only get the 90 minutes that it's on. And two, when they say we're going to show it in picture, you actually get the commentary. You don't get the picture-in-picture. It's awesome. So, guys, if you're not watching TNA, you should be. This match was also great. This had a lot of stuff that I love with high-flying matches. Again, these are 6 X Division guys. All of them high flyers, but their high flying kind of didn't not make sense. It all made sense during the match. So I love this. Leon Slater managed to clear the entire turnbuckle and post in a dive, which that's amazing. He's 20 years old, by the way. He's 20. What were we doing when we were 20? Not that.
Not that, but we were doing
We
stuff.
were doing stuff. The only thing that I will say I did not like about this match, and this is a very, very small nitpick, they very much telegraphed this whole match for Mike Bailey to get what could be considered the hot tag. And it was like, even to the point where there were points where like Mike Bailey wasn't even on the apron. And it just, again, you're telegraphing that hot tag. And
for no reason. He was just hanging out.
He was just chilling there. But one thing I will kind of sandwich this. Give a good, give a bad, give a good. Zachary Wentz has the coolest finisher in the world. We were just
the
talking about
UFO
this.
cutter is the coolest finisher right now. That thing is dope.
Which, Wentz, I know you're my boy. We train together sometimes in jiu-jitsu. Keep doing what you're doing, because that move is amazing.
He
Thank you
gets
for
so
doing
much air on that move.
So much. And it's so different. And it's one of those things you can do on everybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to worry about what the weight or size of the guy is. It looks awesome. Oh, man. But we go from that. We get Hammerstone and Cody Deaner with Jake something, and that sets up a Hammerstone Cody Deaner match, which Showtime has let me know was on Explosion.
Explosion.
It's basically just a way for Hammerstone to beat up on Cody Deaner. We then get the debut of Lai Ying Lee, the former Xia Li, and she debuts against Hyan. I'm pretty sure that translates to an enhancement talent. There was no way Hyan was ever going to win this match whatsoever, and they didn't even put her in that they didn't make it that competitive, which I'm okay with that. You have a debuting women's star. You don't need to have her go out there and do a barn burner with one of your top talents and possibly have her go over someone who's already established. We have a cool backstage interaction with the Hardys and ABC here. I really like this, and this is setting up that you don't know who is going to go after the system for the World Tag Team titles. The Hardys are saying they want it. ABC is saying they want it. Even the interaction with what Jeff does with them, Bay and Ace Austin both say like, oh, that was like, he does this like new version of his double finger thing, and they were like, oh, that was really cool. Like, I'm not mad about it. He's still Jeff Hardy. That's awesome. Which also sets up for next week. We will get the Hardys versus ABC. I'm quite all right with that match. I know Matt and Jeff are not the Matt and Jeff of old, but that will still be a really good match. I think
I'm pumped for that. I would like to see a tag team tournament here. Get some more people in this. They do some really good tag team matches here, and you can get some really cool duos together to kind of bolster this division.
This is the best tag team division in wrestling.
I agree. It's not 1-2 people and some of them thrown together. This is a real division.
Well, and even the teams that are thrown together, I'm like, oh, I'd watch that tag team. That's a good tag team. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. They're still putting on good tag team wrestling matches. We get a really big spot here with Josh Alexander on an in-ring promo. Previous week, we had Eric Young kind of come in and tell him he's going down a dark path. Eric Young has been down this path before. You shouldn't do this. Like, it's hard to come back from. And this week, Josh Alexander does a whole promo where he's seen the error of his ways.
He believes.
He believes. I don't know if he believes, but he does believe.
Actually. He says he believes. He didn't.
He says
but he does.
He believes in Joe Hendry, and he calls Eric Young out, or he doesn't even call Eric Young out. I'm sorry. Eric Young comes out and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the real Josh Alexander, one of the best pro wrestlers in the world." Which he's not wrong about that either. Josh Alexander is one of the best pro wrestlers in the world. And as they're about to kind of hold the rope for each other, Josh Alexander goes to hold the rope for EY. As he's about to put his foot through, he slips behind him quick and hits him with a big overhead release German suplex. I actually like that double cross. It's a little something different. It's a little sprinkle, little salt bay, if you will. I don't know if that's still a term anymore, but he does it. Just gives that little seasoning. And Steve Macklin comes out to go make the save. Josh Alexander powders out of the ring, and the tag team of Sinner and Saint come out and just decimate Macklin afterwards. And then all three of them beat the living hell out of Eric Young and Steve Macklin. I really like this tag team of Sinner and Saint, and them being with Josh Alexander all kind of makes sense. My only question to you, Showtime, is when did it become so cool for wrestlers to start wearing kick pads with no wrestling shoes on or anything? That is becoming a more and more popular thing. They are just asking for someone to break their toes.
Even when we were wrestling, it wasn't cool to wear kick pads, even though I know I did. I think you did for a little bit too.
I still do.
But yeah, the no shoes. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you there. And
like Mike Bailey doing it is one thing because he was kind of doing it. He was kind of doing it by himself, and now one of the guys from Sinner and Saint is doing it. So like it's apparently becoming more popular. I don't get it. I always needed something on my feet, and I've seen too many guys wrestle outdoor matches that they were pouring water on their feet because it was so hot out. All right. With that, we get a backstage interaction between Santino Marella and Matt Cardona. And he tells him, and also Steph Delander, he tells Delander that she should take her time away, make sure she gets healthy. I again agree with all of that. She should absolutely do that. She needs neck surgery. And during this, Cardona comes out, makes fun of the whole situation, and Santino tells him he's going to get PCO, I believe, at Bound for Glory. And before Cardona can cheer so much about it, he says he's always ready because that's his catchphrase. And he goes, it will be in a Monsters Ball match. And, makes fun of Cardona. Cardona leaves. He goes, aha, and I win. Santino 4, Cardona 2.
The Monsters Ball match, isn't that where they're like starved for like 24 hours and like kept in boxes or something like that?
I feel like this is one of those matches that the rules keep changing on. So realistically, it's just going to be a hardcore match. It's going to be a serious hardcore match. I believe
that's what the Monsters Ball is, right?
I don't know. Monsters Ball is a movie with Halle Berry.
It's fair. But I believe it's a match where they have the stipulation where the people don't have any food or water for like 24 hours and they're kept in like dark boxes or something. And so that they're ravenous animals when they get at each other.
I don't think they're going to make PCO or Matt Cardona starve for 24 hours.
Kayfabe they will. Kayfabe's still alive.
It is here at least. All right, so let's move on. We get Heather Reckless, who was the girl that was trying to get Ash by Elegance to sponsor her basically last week, versus Xia Brookside. This match was good. It was unfortunately a little bit of filler match. We get Heather Reckless hitting Xia Brookside with Ash by Elegance's finisher. And afterwards, we get a backstage interaction with them where they take her to the hotel to kind of make her over, especially since her extensions fell out during the match, which was, they were all over the place. And finally, we get the main event. The main event. And it is Joe Hendry versus the King of TNA, Frankie Kazarian.
We believe.
In a number one contenders match with Nick Nemeth on commentary. This was a good match. I like that Frankie sneaks in the Nux to cheat, nails Joe Hendry, gets the pin. Namath comes out, shows the ref the Nux. Another ref comes out, tells the ref, yeah, I saw it in the back. And then Santino's music hits. And I even love the way he says Kazarian's name. Frankie Kazarian. And he restarts the match.
I don't understand why people don't do this more often. Like, there's instant replay. There's giant screens to see that someone's cheating or they've done something nefarious or whatever you want to say. Like, this is like, I'm glad that TNA has referees that uphold the law.
Yeah, again, the best wrestling show on television. I'm just saying. Don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed watching NXT lately too, but this is still hands down the best traditional pro wrestling show that there is on at the moment, and we get what everybody wants. Joe Hendry goes over and gets the number one contender spot for Bound for Glory, which is kind of what we've been predicting since about midway through the summer.
Yeah, the minute he got that over, he has just skyrocketed to the top. I feel like it seems so long ago now that he started trending and getting everyone's attention because he's come so far in such a short amount of time. I feel like they have to give him the title. So we'll kind of see where this goes next, but he had to win this match to go on. Like they want to make him champion before he goes elsewhere.
I think they absolutely should make him the face of this company right now. And realistically, even if you do something where Nick Namath goes heel afterwards, I think Namath is a more believable heel than Joe Hendry will ever be.
That's the hometown hero?
Exactly. All around, though, again, that was TNA this week. Guys, if you're not watching TNA, I still don't understand why.
You're missing out.
You are missing out. This is... we're not just championing it because we're championing it. We're championing it because it's a damn good wrestling show. To go along with that, Hound, Showtime, and myself have already spoken about this. We're not going to do a preview episode, but we will be doing a review of Bound for Glory for this year. It is TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year. There's no way we're not going to watch it. And it's just one more thing that we are going to bring you guys. So please, pay attention to that. Again, if there's a reason why you're not watching TNA, let us know. Because I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear the reasoning behind it. Because they're
production
doing
quality and the Albany crowd.
Yeah, I understand if Albany's not watching.
It's all Albany's fault.
Because Showtime is still bashing you months later. And
TNA Albany.
TNA Albany. No one else Albany.
Nope. Rest of you guys, you're good in my book.
He's giving you Buddy Jesus right now. All right, so that was TNA. Let's talk about the largest wrestling promotion and conglomerate in the world. The WWE. First, we get Friday Night SmackDown.
Before you get into SmackDown, have you watched the Mr. McMahon documentary yet?
I've gotten about 2 episodes in. It's a lot of stuff that we already kind of knew. It's not a bad show. I know some of the stuff that they have talked about is, once again, stuff that we've already known. And I've heard that Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon are producing their own documentary to kind of counter it.
Kevin Dunn has said that there is no credence to that, and he is absolutely not working on a documentary with McMahon. So I'm assuming that means he is.
Yeah, he would never lie.
No.
It's not like he's one of Vince McMahon's guys. So on to Friday Night SmackDown with its new theme song that I don't like. Let me just clarify. I don't necessarily dislike the song, though I'm not a Cardi B fan. I don't like the song for a wrestling show. It's not a good theme song for this, in this case. But I don't make these decisions, and I will move on. We get a show that opens with Randy Orton in the ring, cutting a promo, and he asks for Cody to come out and join him for an explanation on why he is going to team with Roman Reigns. Eventually, we get Kevin Owens to join them as well. We think we're going to finally get this big to-do. And, of course, the Bloodline enters. And though I don't necessarily always love Solo stuff, I like what Solo had to say here. I like of course you had to go get Roman. You can't trust these other two guys to beat us because they clearly can't. And I like that we're getting the little wedges of mistrust between Cody and Randy, Cody and Owens. I have this written down. I don't think Randy Orton turns. I think if someone's going to turn, it's going to be Owens. Or we're just teasing this Owens turn so that Orton can turn. And I know no one goes along with me on this one. I love the idea of Cody Rhodes turning.
It's too early. He can't turn now. This is nonsense, Stephen. We talked about it in detail in the predictions episode, but this is
which you should check
nonsense. You should definitely check it out. But this is nonsense. It's too early for him to heel. The fans haven't started to turn on him. The minute the fans started turning on him, that's when he'll go heel. But I think this is all setting up Orton and Kevin Owens turning on him, and then both going heel.
Which I don't disagree with you.
I think the one match that they've been talking about.
As much as you say the fans aren't turning on Cody, and I get it, they're probably not fully. This is me just looking at it. Everything that comes from Cody's side, I have this written down, is it feels like a used car salesman or a politician talking. Everything is very manufactured. Again, those are kind of heel tactics. And I know, I get what you're saying, where he's not going to turn heel until the fans are turning on him.
Yeah.
The issue with that is the perfect time to turn heel then would be when the fans aren't turning on him. Because then
before they turn on him.
Because then they don't see it coming. But
I get you in that aspect of things, but there's no way he turns here.
I just want his championship run to get a little bit more interesting, and it hasn't been. Like, there haven't been as many stories.
There's no competitors for him. There's no one to go out toe to toe with him, and it's believable that they win.
Well, that's the thing, is there's no storylines for his title run. It's been matches, but no storylines. Even the stuff with the Bloodline isn't a real storyline. And that's been something that's been lacking here. And again, going back to your theory a few months ago, if AJ had just won the title back then,
changed everything.
Cody could have won the title back, and every time he faces somebody now, it's believable that Cody's going to lose. But I digress. More into SmackDown. Immediately after the opening segment, we get a scene with Tiffany and Nia backstage, and it's definitely going to lead into Tiffany cashing in.
And to the point the misdirection. This is exactly what we were talking about last time.
Where it seems like, again, this is kind of where we've been at, or at least where I've been at, where I think Nia is going to, even if Tiffany does cash in, I think Nia is still going to be the heel after all of this.
It's fair. I mean, it's really tough for me to understand Nia as a face right now.
And they always try to do this after, like, a lot of the people who have either cashed in on Nia or screwed Nia, they kind of always play it's the pretty wrestler versus Nia, who's the big monster. And she's the sympathetic monster. I think this is the time where they're going to do it where Nia is just going to be a monster. And she's might actually, like, beat Tiffany at some point. And then we're going to see a cash-in. We immediately go into Bailey versus Naomi for a number one contenders match that we
Most
did not
unnecessary
need.
match of all
We
times.
did not need this match. We could have had this match originally because we didn't need the tag team match last week. I don't know if this was more unnecessary or the tag team match last week was more unnecessary.
We had to have one of them. And I get the tag team match of last week, right? It got all four of these ladies in the ring together. It was a cool opportunity to kind of showcase the alliances here. But just have Bailey win that last week. There's no need to bring Naomi in this and then kind of bury her even more than we already have.
Little notes I have. There's a really good start to this match. I know a lot of times what we've critiqued on Naomi on her in-ring stuff is that they're moving too fast. I think her and Bailey are the perfect speed for each other in this match.
I'm saying that they're not moving fast enough. She wants to do two moves that are faster than she can go.
Maybe that's what it is. They moved at the perfect speed for this, and a lot of this was them just going for wins, going for the quick pinfall. And I love that because they're both supposed to be baby faces, which means they should be trying to win. Heel goes to humiliate, babyface tries to win the match.
Yeah.
It's again to quote our most recent interview, EC3, I didn't make this shit up. It's just a tried and true tested formula. All around, I thought it was a good match. It was just a match that we didn't need. And it seemed like it was almost, again, it seems like almost one of them needs to turn on the other one between Bailey and Naomi at the end of this because it's just blah. The story behind it is kind of blah, unfortunately. The match was good, even if we didn't need it. We either didn't need this one or we didn't need last week at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm going to vote this one. I like the tag match. This one's unnecessary.
We have Andrade, LA Knight, and Carmelo Hayes backstage, where Carmelo attacks LA Knight as him and Andrade are talking about the forced handshake, and then which leads into Carmelo versus Andrade 6, and we get a Carmelo win, which adds to this whole Carmelo, Andrade, LA Knight 3-way storyline for the for the US title.
Love triangle.
This is not the storyline that LA Knight needs to elevate him past this US title.
Nope.
Yep, that's the thing. It's the exact opposite of what his saying is. You've got, this is more like,
no.
This is the Kool-Aid man breaking through the wall. This is not what we want. And I don't dislike these matches, but again, they're just kind of wrestling matches at this point. I have on here Andrade hits Carmelo with this really cool power slam on the apron, like while he's in between the ropes. It was a really sweet move. I cringed for Carmelo Hayes on that one. And it's a good match. But all around, I'm a little tired of this program. I feel like if they were just involved with each other, maybe you could just have them keep going at it. But involving LA Knight in this makes me tired of this program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they put the belt on LA Knight to see if he can handle it, see if he can handle the spotlight. You need to start sending him people that you don't expect him to win, or it's a stretch to win. Like, he needs to beat like Randy Orton or something like that.
He needs to beat a Randy Orton. He needs to be, honestly, I think he needs a monster. He needs a monster to fight, an actual monster. Bronson Reed, a guy like that. You know, if even, I don't want to say Obafemi in NXT because I don't think Obafemi's the right answer.
He's a little too young.
He needs one of those guys. He needs a guy that's so big and so scary and so tough that you don't think he can win. I think you're right. I think Orton might be the right answer, but I don't think he's the right answer because they're going to keep him dancing around the world title. He needs to beat Jacob Fatu, honestly. He needs to find a way to come out of a program with Fatu still with the U.S. title. And if he does that,
That's a tall order. I feel like they're protecting Fatu at this point in time.
I think they need to protect Fatu, but that's kind of the only guy on SmackDown right now that it makes sense, because even the rest of the bloodline, I don't buy it.
Nope.
We get Orton, Owens, and Cody backstage, kind of talking a little bit. I'm inclined to agree with Owens on this. Cody's trying to talk to him. Him and Orton are trying to go over strategy for the match. Like, this isn't the time to talk. Again, who's setting up who in this?
Yeah.
That's really where the question mark is for me. I'm watching it and I'm trying to read between the lines here a little bit. And it seems like Orton could be setting up everybody. It seems like Owens could be setting up everybody. And like I said, it seems like Cody could be setting up everybody.
I don't think it's Cody. It's nonsense.
I don't think it's Cody either. I know it's nonsense. I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is the way they play this out right now, if any one of these three guys double cross the other two, I wouldn't be shocked.
I think it's both Owens and Orton double crossing Cody.
We'll see. We get Michin versus Piper Niven. This is just kind of a setup for Michin versus Chelsea Green in a dumpster match. Woo! I hate to say that I don't care about this match. I care about Chelsea Green. I think everything that she does is gold right now.
It's gold,
this match,
Jerry.
Unfortunately, I have lost caring about Michin. I have lost caring about Piper Niven. All this was fodder. This was cannon fodder. And then it's
Chelsea Green takes advantage of every moment she has on screen, and she does a fantastic job. I'll watch her do anything. I really did think I thought we'd see a much bigger push post
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, yeah. Because she had a great showing there, and she got thrown through multiple tables. But I really did think you were going to see something out of her afterwards, and you've seen nothing. It must be because there's too much talent in that women's division.
That's totally what it is.
Must be it.
We're all making the same face here. All right, so that's followed by a preview for a 3-way tag team title ladder match next week. You're going to get the Bloodline versus DIY versus the Street Profits. I know, talking to Hound, this seems like kind of the way they get the tag titles off of the Bloodline. Again, they could have put this at Bad Blood, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those matches that I could have seen them putting at Bad Blood, and then that keeps the rest of the Bloodline out of the main event. But it is what it is. There's a lot of title matches over the next 2 weeks or so, or over the next week after the pay-per-view. I'm sorry, the PLE. Don't sue me. And we get a quick interaction between Naomi and Bayley where it kind of felt like the tension was real there, which is, again, leading into one of them needs to turn on each other. But then we get Naomi and Tiffy, and Naomi is going to go make a match between her and Tiffy before the PLE so that they can do that whole schmoz. Main event, we get a tag team match between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus Solo and Jacob Fatu. And Cody ends up getting thrown into the ref at the end, and the Bloodline wins. Once again, I'm impressed with Jacob Fatu. This storyline, I have agreed with Hound on this one. I think you have agreed with Hound on this one. We need to get Cody away from the Bloodline.
Yeah, I see that. They just got to find something for him to do. That's the reason he's still there, is because there's nothing better.
I mean, if they're gonna, I don't know. I don't know what else for him to do. Either it's, again, a lot of this was just not set up very, very well. Like, it seems like this was my worry coming out of Mania both of the last 2 years. Once you give Cody the title, what do you do with him?
You set him up to be unstoppable. I know I've said it before, but you set him up to be the unstoppable object. that needs to go through Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns finally loses, and then he just seems invincible.
You needed him. I felt like you needed him to fight like actual monsters. Again,
Yeah.
he's another one that needed to start putting down some monsters. He needed to start putting down the Braun Strowmans, the Bronson Reeds. At this point, I had said it months ago, even though it's they've done kind of a joke with him at this point on the roster. But Karrion Kross would have been a cool one because they could have had some good back and forth. But
him losing to AJ was the moment. They had it and they let it slip through.
Like I said, I think it was his title run has just been kind of lackluster. I think it was a great title win. I think the title win was amazing. Everything about WrestleMania 40 was what you wanted. And since then, there has been almost no real storyline with Cody that hasn't involved the bloodline still. But anyway, that was SmackDown. So on a happy note, let's go over to Monday. Let's talk about Raw. We got Monday Night Raw, and the show opens with the new Intercontinental Champion. Main event, and we can say main event now, Jey Uso. First of all, let's talk about he changed the IC title just ever so slightly. Added some blue into the globes on there. I actually really like this. I like the color added to it. It's his blue that he wears, obviously, but this is one of those things where he changed it ever so slightly, and whoever takes the title after him doesn't need to change it back. So I like it. I definitely like the new one. I might be purchasing that title belt at some point.
Nice. Hanging up on the wall behind you.
It's going to go. It might replace that one. We get Braun Breaker coming out during it to give a little bit of respect to Jey. Gives a
face turn.
We've been talking about a face turn for him. You want to know how you could tell that this was going to be a legitimate handshake? Braun Breaker switches hands with the microphone and puts it into his left hand and actually goes to give him a right-handed handshake. You can always tell the cheap one when it's like the left-handed handshake because most of these guys aren't lefty. All around, I thought this was good. I thought this is a good start for a Braun Breaker face turn. Again, he's kind of too tough for you not to have him start tearing through people and getting cheered for it.
Well, it's essentially what they have for him. They can set that up easily for him. Everyone loves barking at him. I think it's the right move.
It's definitely the right move, and people want to like him. He's a good dude. He's a nice enough dude in the rest of the world that people want to like him. We get Xavier Woods beating Rey Mysterio by pulling off his mask and taking advantage of the situation.
What a Bush League move.
Showtime, are we mad that he took advantage of the situation?
I'm mad that he didn't mask him. Like that's cold-blooded. No, they're turning Woods heel as well. I'm curious what they're gonna do here because there's other areas around this of like Karrion Kross collecting souls or whatever the hell he's doing right now. Which if he's actually collecting souls, I respect that. Go for it.
Showtime has done that himself.
You do what you have to.
Do I have my soul back yet?
No, I always own that. I have others downstairs and paperwork to go with it. I don't know if he's starting a bigger faction or what's going to happen with Woods and some other people he's been whispering in their ears. But I would like to see where it goes. Karrion Kross, I think, could use a nice little push, though he doesn't seem to care because wins and losses don't matter. So
that's what he said.
That's where it's at. Yep.
I like that.
I think it's Bush League that he took the mask off. Like leave that to something big. Like you don't demask somebody like that, and that is slightly on Ray as well because that mask is too easy to pull off.
That's what I'm saying. And they so they do the little backstage bit with him and Kofi where Kofi says he gave up his IC title shot so that we get Xavier Woods versus Jey Uso next week for the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at Raw the way it came out of the next week after it came out on this episode, it's going to be kind of a big Raw, and I'm excited about it. Follow up to the PLE, they got to come in hot.
Yep.
So we get an IC title match, which should be good. We get Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Starks next. Again, has anyone fallen as quickly as Lyra in a
That's what I'm
short time?
saying. Like I've never seen anyone lose heat this quick for no reason.
And get pushed so quickly too. Like she was
Yeah.
pushed so high, so fast.
She was in the finals of Queen of the Ring
against Nia, who went on and won the women's title.
She beat Io Sky.
And now
what are we doing?
She's and now honestly, I could have fast forwarded through this match if I didn't have to watch it.
Now she's on a trios team. Is that like
it's
what is she doing?
It's everything about this. Again, I don't know if what we're doing with the women's division right now outside of the main storylines. It seems very schmoshed. There's just a mess there. It's muddy. All right, here you go, Showtime. This is probably your favorite part of the whole show. We get one last in-ring promo with the sell down between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I know you've talked about this. We've talked in length about this, how McIntyre and Punk are very much making the sell seem scary again. And
yeah,
Adam Pearce and Adam Pearce jumped on this again. Like, we're closing. We need to show everyone what an intimidating structure this is, so we have it down. I like that. I like that they did this. This is, in truth, this is probably the A storyline on Raw. Realistically, is Punk and McIntyre, as much as the Judgment Day stuff is. It's 1A and 1B, but this is kind of the 1A.
It's much more this now, and it was the Judgment Day before. And the Judgment Day went on just a little bit too long.
I mean, with Punk and McIntyre, and we get more into it, obviously, in the preview episode, but have they done anything wrong in this entire feud at this point? I feel like everything they've done has been just firing on all cylinders.
They've confused the fans in their alignment because CM Punk is a heel and they still happen to cheer him. But I don't know if that's their fault or the fans' fault.
Oh, okay. Let's put it this way: are they, from a business standpoint, are they doing anything wrong in this feud?
No, this has been fantastic. I'm curious where it goes if it does end. Everyone likes to end a feud with the three. Like, the tie in a rubber match. I can see this being a forever feud, and I would support that.
These guys print money, and they this is all they do. They print money for the WWE right now, and everything they do. This is the best stuff I've seen from CM Punk, and this is the best stuff I've seen from Drew McIntyre. And that's kind of saying something, because we're talking about two all-stars. And Showtime, your boy, R-Truth is back.
There's a strong middle of the card here. Of course he's back. He works here.
Can we talk about, he called Braun Strowman Andre?
He did before too.
It's amazing. And then his interaction with the Miz here, we got us a tag team match against AOP. Who's AOP? AOP. You mean the Authors of Pain? Oh, is that how you say that?
What have they written? Fantastic.
He's gold. He's gold.
He's so good and quick-witted. I'm sure some of it was pre-written, but he's awesome.
We'll get into more of it once that match happens, because there was some stuff digitally that happened with R-Truth that I don't know if you've gotten a chance to listen to. But we go from that to LWO versus the Judgment Day in a 6-man match in the feud that will never end. This is like the Lamb Chop song, but in feuds.
Yeah. Well, it's because the Judgment Day needs to be able to beat somebody, and that's what the LWO is for.
And you know what? The 6 people involved in this match kind of remind me of the puppets at the end of Lamb Chop.
Fair.
They're all just kind of out there swinging around, doing a lot of this.
Some of them have heads too big for the body.
JD McDonough is a Muppet.
He sure is.
All right. At the end of this, we get Rhea coming out and brings out the shark cage to show Dom. He starts freaking out just seeing it. Again, Dom is doing great work. I think, I keep saying it, the chemistry between Liv and Rhea is off the chart. Rhea throws Dom into the shark cage at one point, and he starts having like PTSD after his 45 minutes that he spent in a holding cell.
Yep, in a drunk tank.
And during this, Liv comes out and saves him. The other 4 male members of Judgment Day beat the hell out of Priest. Finn hits Priest with several coup de grace. And yeah, so that's kind of the hot shot leading into the PLE this week. We go into a quick backstage promo with Sheamus to set up what has been referred to as a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
Old-fashioned Donnybrook.
I don't know what that means. I guess it means one of them's going to have a cricket bat, one of them's going to have a shillelagh, and hopefully no one dies. Or hopefully someone does. I don't know. There's been a lot of death threats in wrestling lately. All right, so we get Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods in his corner, the New Day, if you will, versus Chad Gable with Diet Team Angle in his corner. I'm sorry, American Made.
American Made.
They're still Diet Team Angle. Like, they're wearing Team Angle's gear.
Yep.
Once again, the match was good. It honestly felt a little rushed. It seemed like they couldn't flow from spot to spot well enough as they normally would. Woods costs Kofi the match. Kofi goes to whip Chad into the ropes and hit him with the Trouble in Paradise. And Woods trips up Chad, costing Kofi. Because Kofi misses Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah.
This is just more of what they're doing with this whole turn. Again, that was a heel move. I don't know.
It's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time. And again, I don't know if this means that Woods is going to turn on Kofi or if they're both just going to go heel. They need something, though.
I don't want to see the New Day break up this way. Like, they can go off and do their own single stuff without breaking up, but they've been together for so long, and, like, they haven't split, so there's no reason to do it at this point in time.
It just... and they've been heels before. That's the thing, is, like, they started as heels. Maybe go back to that version, where the power positivity was almost a joke. I don't know. I feel like everything with the New Day and with American Made, this is not hitting for me. We've talked about this. I think they missed their window on this. They just didn't pull the trigger in time for any of it. It should have been. I get long-term storytelling, but they should have. These are stories that could have been in the small book section that you read your kid at night.
Right place, right time. Yep. That's the most important.
And they, like we said, they just waited, and now I don't care. I don't care if Woods turns on Kofi. Mm-hmm. That's the worst thing about this, is not caring about what happens. Something I do care about, we get a Gunther in-ring promo with Sami Zayn. And we officially get the world title match next week on Raw. again, Raw next week, shaping up to be huge.
Really surprised that they put this on Raw instead of on the PLE.
Instead of the PLE. I think they put this on Raw instead of the PLE because you can't draw away from Roman's first official match back. And this would absolutely take away from it. I like everything that's going on with Gunther and Sammy during this promo. I like that the thing that got Gunther to snap and give him the title match was basically Sammy giving Gunther back some of his own medicine. For months now, it's been Gunther talking to other people, telling them how you're trash, your parents did this to you, that's how your parents saw you. And Sammy kind of gives it back to him and gives him a little bit of, oh, well, all your father got to see you was a coward. And that gets the match going.
Sure does.
And I like it. I'm here for it.
Really Marty McFly'd him there.
Really, really Marty McFly. What'd you call me? Called him yellow. We get Awesome Truth versus AOP with Miz turning on R-Truth.
It's a
you
shame.
Don't do this.
It comes out of nowhere, and it doesn't make any sense.
It's. I felt like it wasn't enough build up for this. Like it should have. Like it wasn't Miz snapping more than this in the last couple weeks, where kind of Woods needed to snap months ago. Miz needed to kind of keep snapping for a few more weeks before we got this. I will say this. Truth's backstage promo afterwards that's on digital was amazing. He thinks he's back in the Judgment Day.
He is back in the Judgment Day.
I think that this would be amazing if, I think you are the one who said this during the preview episode, if he goes and helps Rhea and Priest, and that is
helps
how they
the stablemates.
You need it. It'll be the Terror Trio.
Yep, he was starting to win them over at the end.
Oh, man. All right, we get some foreshadowing. Foreshadowing between Braun Breaker and Gunther. Breaker comes out, interrupts any talks that they're having, and Gunther kind of eyes him down, and Braun just says, I just wanted to see the belt. Don't worry. I'll be getting a closer look at it soon. Again.
Setting him up quick after losing a title that he only held for a minute and a half.
I don't know if... And again, we've talked a little bit about this. Punk, Rollins, and McIntyre don't really need the title involved.
They don't.
By Mania point, if Gunther is still the champion, it might be time to cut the ribbon on Braun Breaker. It might be. I'm not saying it will be, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Again, let's see how the next 6 months unfold into that.
Sure.
Realistically, the next 4 months. Let's see what the next 4 months do before we see whether or not Braun Breaker is there yet. And we get our main event. The main event. We get a last monster standing match between Braun Strowman and Big Bronson Reed.
Everything fell apart in this match.
Everything fell apart, and I'm here for it. By the way, this has been the best big man feud that I've seen in a really long time, and I am so glad that it happened the way it did. Both these guys did everything that they were supposed to do. There were points where chairs got thrown, humans got thrown. They blew up the ring in this one. The ring just imploded.
I think it's funny that if you notice, none of the LED screens were there. None of the things at the side.
For this one?
For this one.
I mean, that's just precautionary. They're just making sure that 900 pounds of man doesn't, destroy everything.
The return is what really caught my attention in this match, and how it happened was awesome.
He is an innovator.
Yeah.
He is Seth freaking Rollins. He comes back, comes running around. I like that he wasn't wearing his wife's clothes this time.
Yeah, that's nice. I also like he was unannounced. Like he was just there.
Unannounced. There was no theme music for him even. I like just the run in with no theme music like that. It kind of gives it gave even the fans there that moment.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like he hits Bronson with the curb stomp on the steps, and that really...
As Bronson was trying to get up.
I also like Bronson's look after the whole thing. You get the close up of him, and he's kind of spitting the snot and everything, and he looks like someone just curb stomped him on solid steel steps. Again, I like the idea of Rollins and Bronson Reed going at it for the next couple months. I think this could be one of those feuds where, again, I know I always pitch this idea. This is one of those feuds where at the end of it, if you really need the blow off, an unsanctioned match of some sort, especially, I always like going with like an unsanctioned type of submission match. This way you can do something that's cheating, so to speak, to get the submission that you couldn't do in a normal match. This way, the smaller babyface comes out looking strong, but the heel doesn't come out looking weak because it took a move that wasn't legal to do normal.
Yeah.
I always like that. I know I always pitch that idea. It's one of those ones where I keep it in my back pocket always, because someday I'm hoping I'm going to hold a pencil and someone's going to do this gimmick. But who knows? Maybe I won't. It'd be awesome. It'd still be cool if it happened.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Be a lot cooler if you did. Again, a lot of this stuff was blow off before the PLE as far as Raw went. We have a massive 5-match premium live event for WWE Bad Blood.
Whoa. And the only reason that it's 5 matches is because Roman needs a 2-hour entrance. So
that is true.
It'll be fun.
If you cut Roman's entrance down to, I don't know, just 10 minutes, we probably could have gotten that the world title match in there, or the Intercontinental title match. Maybe the 3-way ladder match. But all around, guys, that's been the week in wrestling. You want to know more about NXT and AEW? Check out our previous episode with me and Hound. All of our links will be down below. Again, if you have questions, send it to us. You have comments, please send it to us. Legion, we love hearing from you. I know I mentioned Family Heels and NJ Harry C earlier. If you have been paying attention to the show and you are following us, you are subscribing to us, folks, we love you. We appreciate you.
We sure do.
It's the reason why we keep doing this every week, every day, every month, every once we get to a year, it'll be every year. But we are hitting 36 episodes right now, and it doesn't look like we're slowing down. In fact, if anything, we're kind of building up. We have a lot of bonus stuff coming out. Again, we just released the EC3 interview. We have an interview with Big AJ. We have previews. We have reviews. There's going to be a lot going on. We're still talking about even another bonus show for the month of October. We'll see how that works out. But as of right now, guys, I just always want to say thank you to all of you. Showtime, anything you want to leave the people with?
Well, as always, guys, we love you. We appreciate all the support. Like Steven said, like and subscribe, share it, talk to friends. If you don't have friends, tell strangers. It's cool. We don't discriminate here. Yeah, it's great.
Just be like, do you listen? I still call it a Lariat. You should.
Yeah, you should. Oh, you haven't heard about it? Of course you haven't. Make them feel real bad about it. It'd be great.
You're not cool enough. Like Linkin Park when they first came out.
Exactly. But we appreciate you guys, and as always, we love you, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
And as always, folks, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.